Welcome back. We are going to do the next step in building our Seesaw activities. And we're going to start adding in the elements for this activity. So I showed you how to make the base here, which is on page 1. I'm going to show you how you can duplicate a page. So I'm going to duplicate this because I want to keep my base. So all you do is hit these 3 little buttons right here on the page on the side, and it'll give you the options. You can delete the page or duplicate the page. So I've duplicated the page. So say I'm making a math activity that I want my students to do, and we just did comparing numbers. I can do multiple things on here. My students really enjoy activities where they can move things or where they can draw things. So I'm going to select something that they can move around. The first thing I want to do is I want to use my text tool. Some people call it the label tool. And I'm going to decide that they are going to order from least to greatest. So the first thing they're going to do is they're going to order some numbers from least to greatest. Now, I don't really like the style of this for my directions, having the box around it. You can hit these nice 3 little dots right here, and you'll see there's lots of options. We've already talked about that lock option. I'm going to go to style. You can change the font if you would like. I'm going to more focus on that border. I don't want any border. So this would be no border, just the text. This is text with border, and then this is filled in, and I'll show you that one in a second. You can also decide, do you want it to be to the left, centered, or to the right. So I'm going to select no border on this. And then my text is kind of bigger than I want it to be. I'm just going to shrink it down by grabbing the corner. So if you grab the corner, you can shrink it down, you can make it bigger. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit, bring it up here, and I'm just going to stretch it out because I want it all on one line. I want them to know on this one, you're going to order from least to greatest. So I'm going to put that there. I'm not going to lock it yet, just in case I want to move it around or make some changes, but I know I want them to order from least to greatest on the first one. On the second one, I'm going to duplicate this because I want it to be the same size. So I'm just going to duplicate it, drag it down here, click inside of it, and I'm going to change this from order from greatest to least. So now I kind of have an idea what I want to do, and I'm going to add in some movable parts. These parts aren't going to be movable, but I'm not sure if that's exactly where I want them yet or how I want this to look. So I'm going to hold off for a second. I'm going to hit my tool again, and I'm just going to pick a random number. But for these ones, I do want the style to be solid in the back. And so I'm going to select this one right here. So here I have my number, and I think I want them to be a bluish color. And I like the size of that. I'm just going to kind of shrink the box. So I just go on the side to shrink the box, but I really don't want to shrink the number. So there you go. We're going to have 45 there. I'm going to duplicate this because I have the color I want. I have the size I want. I'm going to pick another number, and I think I want them to order 4 numbers. So I'm going to do this 4 times. So I'm going to make these numbers. So I have them for my first one. I'm going to go ahead and make numbers for my second one, and I will see you right back here. Okay, so I've created all of my groups of numbers, and now I really want to make this kind of pop. So as I was creating my group of numbers, my mind was just thinking, I was like, you know what, I think I'm going to divide this up so that they can be very clear which is which and what goes where. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to click on those 3 dots, go to my shape, and I'm going to grab a line. So now I have this line. I'm going to put this line in the center-ish. I'm going to try and center it and put it there. And then I'm just going to drag it across so I can separate both. And I don't know if that's the color I want. I can change the color if I like. I think I'm just going to just make a solid black line just so it's easy. This, I want to lock it in place. I'm going to lock it now and hope that I don't want to change it later. So see why I didn't lock these? I want to put this more towards the center, I think. So I'm going to put those towards the center. Their directions, maybe. I don't know. I have a couple things going on in my mind right now. And that's the fun thing about seesaws. You can always change your mind. So I'm going to just kind of slide these down so they can see their numbers that they're going to order. And I'm going to add another shape. I'm kind of trying to just think and decide what I want to do here. I think I'm going to grab this again. And I'm going to change it to, this is where I always debate is on the color. I do love bringing color in. I think I'm going to do a little bit of I like pastel colors. You can change the style of your shape as well. So I just kind of want a border shape. And I'm just going to kind of stretch it out here because I want my students to know where to order their numbers. And I'm just going to duplicate this one on down here. So let's just pretend this shape was solid for just a second. So I'm not going to lock it. So let's just pretend, or I'm going to turn this style back. I'm not going to leave it solid. But if it were solid, well, if my students go to move it, you can see, the numbers go behind the shape. So they wouldn't be able to see where they're ordering the numbers. So that's why I said not to lock anything yet, because if it was locked, then I have to unlock it and it's just extra work. I'm going to switch it back to the style that I want, but I am also going to go to the order button and I'm just going to send it to the back so that, well, not all the way to the back. I'm going to bring it up. If I send it to the back, it's going to go behind my white. I can bring these to the front, which is the better option. Let me do that. So this one I'm going to just bring to the front. So if it was solid, you would just bring all your numbers to the front so they can cross over. I actually kind of like how that goes better than them going underneath. So I'm just going to quickly bring all of them to the front. And really, once you get the hang of this, it goes fairly quickly. I don't feel like I spend a lot of time like making a simple seesaw activity like this. To me, is doesn't take a lot of time. I like this because I'm able to really focus in on what we're learning on. So if we're just learning on ordering those numbers, I can go ahead and focus on just that. Some seesaw activities have a combination of stuff, and so when you just want to make something fairly quickly on your own to really focus on what you're working on, then I feel like building it from scratch is a good way to go. Now I'm going to line these numbers up the best I can. One thing I'll say about Seesaw is it's not like a PowerPoint or a Google slide where it tells you it's exactly lined up. You got to kind of eyeball it. Like I feel like these ones are not straight and I like my stuff to be straight. So you can just kind of eyeball it. Honestly, the kids don't care. Um, they aren't looking to see how straight and close and you make your numbers. I feel like these ones are spaced out better than the ones at the top. But for me, it's just something that I like to make sure that I have it done that way. So here are my boxes. They look pretty great. They're going to order from least to greatest. So I'm going to just lock this in. And I'm going to lock this in because I don't want them to be able to move the boxes that they're going to be putting stuff in. So then I think I just want to put like a cute little message that says like, I can order numbers. And I'm going to first make it a little small. And then I'm going to change my background on this one to like a darker purple. And I'm just going to stick it right up here. So I'm going to be moving those other things again because I want them to know basically this is where you're going to order your numbers. I'm going to duplicate that, bring it down here. Oh, look, I locked this and I've changed my mind. I'm going to unlock it now and I'm going to pull it down a little bit more. So I'm probably going to pull these numbers down a little bit more because I want this about right here. Okay, now I can go back. I'm going to lock this one again. And I'm going to lock that. And I think I'm just going to put this right back where I started. And that's why it's good to just kind of, now I'm on the line. There we go. Let's slide these down. And I'm just building it up. And this is just me trying to get them exactly where I want. You can just make them random if you wanted to. So I'm going to do that. And you know what else I'm going to do? Because I want them to know, and that's what I love about Seesaw. I can let them really know, I need you to order them over here. So I can say, did I lock these? Nope. Good. Okay, I'm going to bring this down just a little bit so they know, like, I want you to bring it over here and order it. That's what I want you to do. Some kids are very visual. I meant to duplicate that, not lock it. And this helps them. So that's one of the things that I really like about Seesaw is it kind of gives that extra help that they need that they can see. And this is something that you can really build on your own. And I know I'm taking all this time just putting these pieces all down and up and everywhere. So, okay, I think that's how I'm going to keep it. I am going to lock it in. So here it is locked. So every element that I don't want the students to move, I'm locking. So I have locked everything except these blue numbers. And I will see you back on the next page to show how we can add in oral instructions for our students.